Welcome back to Architutors. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to take a simple site plan from AutoCAD and turn it into a high-quality architectural render in Photoshop, all in under 15 minutes. This workflow is fast, beginner-friendly, and perfect for architects or designers who want professional results without spending hours. By the end of this video, you'll see how easy it is to bring your 2D drawings to life with clean, crisp visuals that impress clients and colleagues alike. Let's begin. So, we have this site plan layout of a commercial scheme in AutoCAD that I'll be working with. We can use the plot command to export a PDF of this drawing that'll be easy to work with, which is basically the file we'll import into Photoshop. The first step is to save this current drawing, and then save a second file without any text or dimensions. I'm going to turn the text and dimension layers off and then use the plot command to export a clean PDF without the text. Here we have both PDFs ready. Selecting the drawing file without the text, right-click and open it with Photoshop. In the Import dialog, we want to go with the option Crop to Artbox to get the accurate dimensions of the PDF. I'm keeping the resolution at 300 dpi, and then we'll hit OK. Once our file is imported, let's create a new layer. Drag it to the bottom, and I'm also going to rename our drawing layer. That really helps to keep everything organized. Now use the shortcut Shift Backspace to open the Fill command and select a white color to fill our background. We can also lock this layer to keep it securely in place. Let's start by highlighting the plots in this layout first. With the drawing layer selected, use the Magic Wand tool to create selections of the plot rectangles. Hold down the Shift key to add new selections to your current one. After making the selections, create a new layer named Plots.
From here, we go to the Fill command using the shortcut Shift Backspace and apply a color to it. I'm going with white for now, but we'll change it later in the layer styles. Double-click on your layer to open the Layer Style options and go to the Color Overlay section. Here, we can either choose a visual color or input specific RGB values. Now, to make it look even better and add more depth, we can turn on the Bevel and Emboss option. I'm going with an inner bevel and adjusting the size and depth parameters. We can also give it some soft shading and tweak a few settings. Let's also turn on the Drop Shadow option here and adjust a few parameters there too. Press OK if you're happy with how it looks. Use the shortcut Ctrl-D to deselect everything, and let's zoom in to take a better look at that detailing. It looks really nice. Now, let's create a selection of the service blocks and toilets using the Magic Wand tool.
Just like we did before, create a new layer. Open the Fill option using the shortcut Shift Backspace and fill the selection with white. Now we can work faster. Simply right-click on the plots layer we made earlier, select Copy Layer Style, then right-click on our new layer for the service blocks and select Paste Layer Style. This keeps our workflow efficient, and all we need to do now is open the layer style options for this layer, head to Color Overlay, and change the color. I'll go with a blue tone for this. Next, we can work on defining a realistic texture for the road. Select the main drawing layer and using the Magic Wand tool, make a selection of the entire road network. I have a couple of texture images that I'll use as custom patterns for the road and the grass. Let's open one of those images in Photoshop. Go to Edit and click on the Define Pattern option. This saves that image as a seamless pattern we can apply later. I'll repeat the exact same step with the grass image as well. Now that we've created a pattern for the road, let's go back to our main working file, create a new layer for the road selection, and fill it with white using Shift Backspace. Double-click the layer to open the Layer Style options. Turn on Pattern Overlay and select the road pattern we just defined. We can also adjust the scale to make it look proportional. Just like we did previously, we can add Bevel and Emboss to provide more realistic depth to this texture. Click OK to proceed. Following the exact same method, use the Magic Wand tool to create the selection where we want the grass on this site plan layout. Create a new layer after making all your selections. We can simply copy the layer style of the road layer we just created and paste it onto this new grass layer.
Once that's done, open the settings, switch the pattern to the one we defined for the grass, and adjust the scale so it looks perfectly natural. On the road layer, I'm also going to add a satin layer style to give it a bit more depth and texture. We can experiment with the size and distance parameters to see what looks best. Now that it's applied, I'm going to decrease the opacity of this layer slightly so it complements all the other colors in the scheme. Next, we are going to make a selection of the corridors using the Magic Wand tool, holding down the Shift key to make multiple selections. Then create a new layer and use the Fill tool to apply a white color to that selection. Now we can double-click on that layer, go to Layer Style, and turn on the Color Overlay option. I'm going with a clean gray tone for this section. Similar to our previous steps, we can apply Bevel and Emboss to give the edges some definition. Now let's also create selections for the drive-through and parking areas. You can also use the rectangular marquee tools to help with this.
Create a new layer for that. Use the Fill command with the shortcut Shift plus Backspace and fill it with white. I'm going to copy the layer style of the corridor layer and paste it right onto this one, but I'll adjust the opacity of the color overlay to differentiate them. Next, we can make a selection of the remaining parking area at the front and create a separate layer for it too, filling it with white as we did earlier. For this specific layer, I'm going with a pattern overlay that looks like a clean architectural hatch pattern. We're almost done here. Now we can give the background area a specific color.
I'm going to create a selection of the outer area using the Magic Wand tool and fill it with a distinct background tone. Now that we're completely done with the rendering and texturing part, the last thing to do is drop our original plan layout, the one with all the text and dimensions, right onto this file to see how it looks. I'll drag that line work drawing layer all the way to the top of the layer stack, and it looks really great. This is how you can render an architectural site plan in Adobe Photoshop with ease. We've rendered a commercial scheme for this tutorial, but you can apply these exact same post-production techniques to render any master plan or project layout. Finally, we can export this final presentation as a JPEG, a high-quality PDF, or any other format you desire. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay updated with all the upcoming architectural software tutorials on ArchitUtors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.